For the past few weeks, we've been exploring the 4 basic chords, their sounds, and formation. Last week, we started looking at the structure of these chords and promised to complete the process today. Now, if you are new here, feel free to catch up on our previous lessons to get the most out of today's video. Let's get started. In order to find the interval between two notes on the keyboard, you need to know how many keys separate those two notes from each other by counting. This counting can be done by using tones or semitones. A semitone is a half step from one note to another, and a tone is a full step from one note to another. I am going to explain this using the numerical system. Look at the set of numbers below, starting from 1 to 10. From 1, we take a half step and move to 1.5. Then we take another half step and move to 2. From 2, you take a half step and move to 2.5. Then from 2.5, you take another half step to get to 3. So you realize that if I want to move from a number to the next number closest to it, I just need to take a half step. Now, what if I want to move from 1 straight to 2? What do you think I have to do? With that, I'll have to take a full step by skipping this half step. So instead of moving from 1 to 1.5, then moving from 1.5 to 2, which are 2 half steps, I'll just take one full step by moving from the 1 straight to the 2. So this means that in every full step, there are 2 half steps. This is the same for tones and semitones. If I move from one key to its immediate adjacent key, that is a semitone or half step. If I move from one key and skip its immediate adjacent key to the next key, that will give me a tone or full step. It was stated that if you move from one key to its immediate adjacent key, you will have a semitone. So which key do you think is the closest to this one? This key is. So a semitone above this key will be this. So what will a semitone above this key to be? This one. Very good. Because that is the closest key to it. To move by a tone, we said that you have to skip the immediate adjacent key and move to the next key. So if I pick this key, this is the closest key to it, and that will be my semitone. If I want to move by a tone, I need to skip it to the next note, which is this. So a tone from this key will be this. So what will a tone from this key be? This one. Very good. Because from this key, this is the closest note to it, which is a semitone. So you have to skip it to the next note. Now, if you pay attention closely, you will realize that in every tone there are 2 semitones. Just like we said in every full step, there are 2 half steps. So if I pick this key we just used, a tone from here will be this. From this key to this is a semitone. And from this to this key is another semitone. So 2 semitones got us to the note where just 1 tone took us. In our previous lesson, I said you can form the 4 basic chords from any of these keys. All you need to do is to find your starting point, which is the root. And it can be any of these keys. So if I pick this key, it becomes my root. If I pick this, it becomes my root. If I pick this too, it becomes my root. So whichever key I decide to form the chord from becomes my root. These are the formulas for the 4 basic chords. If you are comfortable with formulas, that's perfectly fine. However, if memorizing multiple formulas seems difficult, I've got a simpler solution where we will focus on memorizing just one formula, which is the major chord formula. From there, we will derive the other chords. For a major chord, the root comes first. Then you count 4 semitones from the root to the 3rd. Then 3 semitones from the 3rd to the 5th. Let's take this as our root. Our formula says 4 semitones from the root to the 3rd. So let's count. A semitone, which is your adjacent key from this, will be this. So that's 1. Then the next semitone from this will be this. So 2. The next will be this. 3. Then the next. 4. So this becomes our 3rd. So we have our root and our 3rd. Now we have the 5th left to find. Our formula says 3 semitones from the 3rd to get the 5th. So let's count. From this note, the next adjacent note will be this. So that's 1. Then our next semitone from here, 2. And the final one, 3. So we have the 5th now. Now that we have all 3, let's play them together and see. So this is a major chord. Let's take another example. This time, let's take this as our root. Our formula says 4 semitones from the root to the 3rd. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this becomes our 3rd. Now we have to find the 5th. And our formula says 3 semitones from the 3rd to get the 5th. So let's count. From here, our next semitone will be this. So 1, 2, and 3. So we now have the 5th. Now let's play them together. This is a major chord. So if you're a fan of formulas, just follow the same approach to form all the other chords. If not, let's look at this simple approach. This is a major chord. We've already looked at how they are formed. To get a minor chord, all you have to do is to reduce the 3rd by a semitone. Anytime I say reduce, it means we are going backwards. When I say increase, it's forward. So here we are bringing the 3rd backward by a semitone. A semitone backward from this note will be this note. And that is it. You have your minor chord. Let's go back to the major chord. Remember I said we are deriving the other chords from the major chord. So you need to form the major chord first. To get an augmented chord, you just have to increase the 5th by a semitone. So we are going to move forward. This is our 5th, and the semitone from this note will be this note. When I play everything together, this is what we have. This is an augmented chord. This is our major chord. To get a diminished chord, we have to reduce the 3rd and 5th by 1 semitone each. So this is our 3rd. If I reduce it by a semitone, this is what we have. Now this gives me a minor chord because only the 3rd has been reduced. So to get the diminished chord, we reduce the 5th by a semitone too. A semitone backward from this note will be this note. Now we have all the notes. Let's play them together. So this is a diminished chord. Here is a summary for you. Don't worry about calculating tones and semitones every time you play. With consistent practice, you will become increasingly familiar with the keyboard layout. Over time, you will develop the ability to form these chords intuitively just by looking at the keys. Practice makes perfect, and your fingers will learn to navigate the keyboard with ease. Hope you enjoyed today's lesson. May God give you understanding, and don't forget to like, comment, and share.